entrepreneur and an innovator from South Africa. With us, we would like to invite Mr. Andre Nel from EcoV, the company that pioneered a model that deal with not only the energy access, but also the water security. So I leave the story to Andre.
Thank you. It's great to be here. Not too many people in the room, but for those that maybe didn't follow the rugby, South Africa won the World Cup this weekend, so I'm very excited as I'm standing here. But I think for us, you know, as sport can draw people and countries together, my vision is that sustainability and the green economy is really what Africa needs. And that has been something that we've been really working on literally from 2011, when my dad inspired me to start working on solutions for energy efficiencies, initially on water heating, so we've done some things there. But what we have created over the past years, and we started with Global CleanTech Innovation in 2016, where we're a runner-up in South Africa, and we actually managed to visit the Tesla factory in San Francisco as well, which is fantastic. It was very inspiring for me. We have developed energy and water security solutions for communities, business, industries, right across the spectrum. And we also are now working with food security, which is a dire problem in Africa, especially where we're suffering in Southern Africa with huge drought problems. So the way that we've done this is through developing a product that we call GreenTower microgrids. The difference between our product and what is out there currently is that we have built a model that is able to work with both energy and water to combine, give us a sustainable business model. So we have a hybrid solar technology which combines, and we harvest all the available energy from the sun. Obviously, solar PV helps us to harvest electrical energy, but we also have combined solar collectors to harvest the heat energy. And then also the resource which is around us every day, you can feel the heat. Using solar heat pumps, we're able to extract energy from the air as well. So our storage technology primarily has been, yes, we use lithium-ion batteries because they're very efficient, but they're very expensive. So when it comes to climate control and water heating, we have large batteries which are in large water tanks. So we store energy in the form of hot water and cold water insulated tanks. And what brings all these technologies together, we've literally, to get to the efficiencies we need, we have integrated as many as 10 technologies in a IoT platform, which we've created and which is the focus of our development at the moment. So we also treat borehole water very efficiently because groundwater is available in most parts of the world, even in a dry country like the UAE have got very well-documented water reserves underground. The problem is the quality of that water. And so we have a way of treating that water very energy efficiently. And our next focus literally is climate control. So we're looking at developing that. The challenges that we faced in an Africa ecosystem has been lack of funding. We were very fortunate to be part of the UNIDO-sponsored Global CleanTech Innovation Program in South Africa, which set our mind on a path of validation. So what we've been doing over the past 4 years, since we launched our company in 2014, we have focused on both technology validation and business model validation. And by doing this, we've actually managed to find a way of coming up with paybacks for large-scale projects of 3.5 years, which enables incredible business models from there. So basically, in 2011, when we started with a hospital project using traditional heat pumps and solar water heating. And immediately we realized that the technology was lacking. And that is where we started developing a smart grid because we need to manage both the load as well as the resource. In 2014, we started with a patenting process on our water heating technology, and we've embarked on a process of factor 10 technologies. So we are able today to save 90% on energy for water heating, 90% on utility bills for electricity and water for our consumers. What's really been positive for us is the fact that through a really methodical process of just keeping at it, and when I'm talking about a lack of funding, what it really means is that it slowed our progress. We've had to fund most of our development internally, which really means me and my small team not taking a salary for many years. So yes, we are running at a loss. However, recent wins have been ABM Bev. We're part of the ABM Bev 100 Plus Accelerator. We're currently doing a large-scale pilot for them at a depot in Johannesburg. Our anchor customer has been a non-profit organization, social organization in South Africa, the South African Women's Federation, who have signed a letter of intent for 50 old age homes, and it's really, they have enabled us to validate our technology. We've been running a commercial pilot with them for 2 years. And currently, we're busy with UNIDO on the PFA network. We're busy with a bankability study for $40 million to $50 million in scaling up our technology. And I think what's really been exciting for us over the past month, apart from the opportunity to be in Abu Dhabi and develop this as a new market opportunity for us, is that our financial model has now grown to such an extent that we have a 6-year asset financing model whereby we can generate savings to such an extent that we can pass savings back to the customer in a service model where the customer does not need to invest any cash. And so what's really exciting for us, some of the big developments we have, we are collaborating with Namibia, and Namibia, our neighboring country, has a massive resource which is untapped, along with South Africa, and that is the sun. So we're embarking on a gigawatt solar farm project in Namibia, which would connect to the Southern Africa power pool. Dolph speaking about the grids, they have been developing interconnection grids in Southern Africa for a while, so we're looking at tapping into that. But one of the projects that's really close to my heart is that we're looking at funding for 1,000 schools, up to 4,000 schools in South Africa, which would give us the capacity to, within 2 years, provide another gigawatt to South Africa's grid. The only thing that's lacking is an understanding ecosystem that really understands what we have unlocked with our technology. The fact that we've unlocked the factor 10 technology is not understood yet by most of South Africans, most people in the world, and that is our mission. Working with you is to create an understanding as to the viability of the green economy and how water and energy working together can solve so many of our problems. We do not need to necessarily wait for politicians to solve the problems. We, as the general people, the population, people, young people that are attending schools, can be the next generation that are advocating sustainability. Thank you for your time. We really appreciate the opportunity.
Please join us. Thank you very much, Andre, for sharing with us your technology solution. Actually, you're demonstrating one of these sort of solutions that integrate a number of technical solutions in a system to be delivered in a distributed fashion, as we're talking about the decentralization of the energy system, and this is on a micro scale that has delivered value to customers. In UNIDO, we think that the space of engaging youth and women and in the clean tech space is immense and provide an opportunity to not only create jobs but also empower different segments of the society that can often be marginalized. But I want also to draw on the role of regulators and policymakers. What can they do to create an enabling environment for entrepreneurs in the clean tech space? Andre, your experience working in South Africa and now moving to Namibia and the Southern Africa region, what would you sort of, the key messages would you, from your experience and the challenges you faced, would you invite policymakers and ministers to intervene and help in lubricating and facilitating the market for some of the solutions you offer?
We're very fortunate that because of the pressures that the grid are under in Southern Africa, because all the Southern African countries literally make use of Eskom power, so the problems with our utility is passing through to the whole region. Both South Africa, as recently now in October, have started to improve the regulatory environment. Namibia has been a couple of months ahead of us. They've already improved the environment for license-free 10-megawatt solar farms. They've also improved the regulatory environment in Namibia, moving away from the single buyer model. So customers do not have to buy directly from NamPower, but for instance, municipalities, regional areas, as they call regional electricity distributors, can now initiate private activities. And I think that's really important, because we can't necessarily expect government to supply funds for these activities, but the private sector is able to, through very well-tested mechanisms, to fund these projects. I think what the role that, for instance, UNIDO can play and has been playing for us is to help us to amplify the message that we have a technology that works, and that the risks, Patrick, as you mentioned, can be mitigated, and that it's something that we need to invest in massively. To get to the six-fold increase in solar. The technology is really robust. With the adding of IoT and machine learning on top of that, we have seen already that we can achieve massive efficiencies. So that's really the message.
Thank you, Andrea. I've been getting the signal from our organizers that we need to wrap up the session, because the next one is the plenary for the General Conference, where important resolutions will be adopted and announced. In summary, I would like to just bring a conclusion to this event by highlighting some of the key messages. At least we clearly understand and see that clean technology, or the CleanTech sector, is an important, and the innovation related to it is an important catalytic for the transition to a clean energy system, and also to achieve the ambitions of a low carbon economy. And clearly also that market and the innovations that are emerging also present an opportunity for many of our member states to participate in the value creation and the value capture from the clean energy transition through commercial offering on the market. It's clearly understandable that also entrepreneurs that are working with this sector in developing and emerging markets face challenges in terms of the ecosystem supporting the entrepreneurs and facilitating the access to financing and capital, the connectivity with various support infrastructure to facilitate the commercialization, the validation of the technology, the prototyping, the scale-up of these solutions in the market. And that's where I think agencies like UNIDO and other agencies in the international arena can come in and support, improve that ecosystem with the governments to enhance the conditions for the SMEs to grow, to accelerate their deployment of their solutions. One interesting features we have been looking at in the study of CleanTech commercialization is that the market if the entrepreneurs can succeed in developing markets, they actually have a better conditions than in other developed markets because actually there are no subsidies for these entrepreneurs. If we can remember the emergence of the renewable energy markets in Germany, it really flourished based on a government subsidy, massive subsidy to create that market. And then most of developing countries they cannot afford this subsidy. So the entrepreneurs are actually really offering a market-based solution in a very difficult circumstances. And if they win in that market, they absolutely have the opportunity to scale up in international markets. With this note, I conclude my session, and please join me in thanking our panelists, the entrepreneurs, and the guest speakers. And thank you very much for joining us and for being with us in this event, and look forward to a successful launch of your